Remember our old hometown? Nothing to do but watch the paint dry.
I see you've made your famous tic-tac pie.
Then, one day, along came...
You looking for me?
What a bombshell! What a star!
Here's dinner.
What a cut!
We ought to have one of these every year.
Elvira! Mistress of the Dark!
Rated PG-13. Special sneak preview Saturday, September 24th. Check your newspaper for time and location.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cinema Arcade. This is the podcast about movies, video games, and the sparks that fly when those worlds collide. My name is Steve Guntley, the actual Mistress of the Dark, and today we are talking about...
Bullshit.
Oh, I'm claiming it.
Bullshit.
I am the Mistress of the Dark.
No, you are not Mistress of the Dark.
Well, who else would be? I don't know, maybe a little person named Elvira. That's who we're talking about today. We're talking about the 1988 comedy Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I'm so hyped. This character is near and dear to my heart. I love like cheesy horror hosts, and Elvira's among the best who have ever done it. Who is joining me here as usual?
J-Ban. I am Duke of the Night.
You're Duke of the Night?
Duke
Okay.
of the Night.
Okay, all right. I'm fine with that. And who else is here with us?
I'm an evil warlock.
You don't have...
I thought you were saying
don't have
wall.
the riz to be an evil warlock.
What? That's fucked up. You can't just say that.
Well, because it's true. You don't have the riz to be a warlock.
Well, he could if he gets
Forever
enough
alone.
Eye of Newts and then makes the Riz potion. Yeah, it's
Hey,
a
my
thing.
old roommate's dog is named Newt.
Hey, there you go. And speaking of somebody who needs no Riz potion, just naturally, inherently overflowing with Riz. Is this your worst introduction to anything ever?
This feels, I'm scared to live up to this for the next hour.
Very excited to have my dear friend Juliet Robb is here to help us talk about this iconic, another iconic woman. I think you're the two,
Wow,
you and
thank
Elvira. Are
There's
the
only two in all
There's
of
only
human
two
history.
in all-
You're the two big women, and I'm glad we got to bring you together. No, we're very excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Me. I'm so stoked.
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited to talk about this character. I'm just curious to kind of go around the table real quick. Like, what are people's exposure to Elvira? Did we grow up with it? Julia, do you have much experience with this character?
No. Okay, so you hit me up and you were like, we're going to talk about this movie on the podcast. And I was like, totally ashamed to say that I hadn't seen it before. So I watched it for the first time as a 33-year-old woman last week, and I was floored.
Yeah.
One of those that you watch and you're like, could we make this again? Maybe not.
It kind of is one of one. Like, it is so specifically tied to her specific brand that it's
Yes.
like, yeah, it would be hard to do this again. They tried. There were sequels that just didn't really connect. So, yeah. Justin, were you familiar with Elvira at all? You're the youngest of us, so I think like it's easy for her to have kind of flown like right under your radar.
I'm the youngest by 2 years this time. So.
Yeah, there you go.
I had heard of. I don't know if I'd necessarily heard of, but I definitely seen pictures.
Okay.
But that was it. So like, there was something somewhat recently where Elvira was involved, and I don't remember what it was. I don't think it was anything we did. But
No.
I watched like a clip of something and was like, oh, I remember vaguely that person from something.
Yeah.
And then we watched the movie, and similar response. I was like, well, this is a movie.
It sure is. And how about you, J-Ban? Do you have some affinity for the character?
This is not the first time I've watched this movie, and I do remember Elvira a lot when I was a child, and hosting movies. And I also was very excited to see her come out as bisexual, and so that was very awesome. But she's just such a really charming character, and it was really funny because like you talk about burlesque and drag, and there's a lot of elements to her personality and performance that is this sort of tongue-in-cheek sort of embracing her sexuality while also being exploited for her sexuality. It's like it's this weird like wavelength. I don't know. It's so interesting. And like I love how I love her style. I love her car. I'm gonna ask Justin about his opinion on the car, and he will get.
Now?
I
have the 60-second timer ready?
No, but I remember when I was pitching this to Juliet, she's like, it's like, oh yeah, what movies do you have coming up? And I said this one, and I'm like, and she's like, is that like, I don't know much about that movie. Does she use her gigantic boobs to fight the patriarchy? And I'm like, in fact, she does. And you're like, I'm on board. All right, let's do it. Yeah.
Boobs being weaponized in this film is choice.
Yes.
It's incredible. It's such a great way for her to kind of like lean into this thing that she has been, you know, I've read her autobiography. It's fantastic. You definitely got to read it. It's called Cruelly Yours. And she talks a lot about how like the attention drawn to her body made her feel very alienated and very othered. And she reached this point where she's just like, why don't I just make this part of the bit? Like this, like I can't hide who I am. This is what I am. This is what I look like. I'm going to own the shit out of it. I'm going to have the best time. And I'm just going to make like, I mean, she's it's a very dominant, like charismatic character, you know, and it's so cool that it pervaded pop culture in a way like that was totally on her own terms, which I thought was really rad. Yeah.
Well, it definitely harkens back to like Dolly Parton and the embracing of like being like, this is who I am, this is my wig, and this is my bosoms.
Yeah. This is my bosoms. Well, let's learn.
You gotta say that with a southern twang, otherwise it makes you sound creepy.
Bosoms.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. If you put too much twang on it, you go right back to being creepy.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
a fine balancing act.
Look, I'm in the cul-de-sac already. I'm just there.
You're in the cul-de-sac?
Yeah, the creepy cul-de-sac. I live there. Yeah. Anyway, let's learn a little bit about this movie.
You were not in the creepy
That's where
cul-de-sac.
Elvira lives. I don't know.
No.
Elvira doesn't live on a cul-de-sac.
I don't
What are
know.
you talking about? She's got a castle mansion.
That's true. She does. Yeah, that's overrun with knights, we've come to learn through the game. But anyway, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark was released September 30th, 1988. It's directed by James Signorelli. It's written by Sam Egan, John Paragon, and Cassandra Peterson, and it stars Cassandra Peterson, a.k.a. Elvira. W. Morgan Shepherd, Daniel Green, Jeff Conway, Frank Collison, Susan Kellerman, Kurt Fuller, Lynn Marie Stewart, and Edie McClurg. Great name, Edie McClurg. I just love saying McClurg. Yeah, Elvira, just one of the coolest kind of pop culture creations of the 80s. You know, like I think of Elvira in the same breath as Pee Wee Herman, which they both arose from the same people. They were both very close friends, and they both found this way to do this kind of like broad scale performance art where they were always appearing on talk shows in character. Like you never saw Cassandra Peterson being interviewed. It was always Elvira. You never saw Paul Rubens. It was Pee Wee. So they found this kind of really fun way of sort of domineering pop culture. Now, Elvira, the character, was created by Cassandra Peterson. Again, I'm going to plug Yours Cruelly, Elvira. Phenomenal book, really fun. She was born in small town in Kansas and then raised in Colorado Springs, near my old stomping grounds. And she developed a fondness for horror and sci-fi movies after a stint in the hospital left her watching TV movies on every afternoon. She was very badly burned, and she has horrible burn scars all over her back. And it's something that, like, she still to this day has always been very self-conscious about. So she was a tomboy from an early age, but she developed, let's say, her assets shortly after puberty, which
so creepy.
led to a lot of attention from men and some success on the beauty pageant circuit. She was an early and vocal supporter of the gay community, so she started working drag shows at local gay bars, which led to a lengthy career as a dancer and a Las Vegas showgirl. During her time in Vegas, she was unsuccessfully romanced by everybody from Elvis Presley to Hugh Hefner to Robert De Niro, and she was allegedly raped by the basketball player Wilt Chamberlain. She says that, she details that in her autobiography. It's very horrifying sounding, but it sounds like De Niro was a gentleman, at least. It seems like he was a very nice guy. In the late 70s, Peterson stepped away from her dancing career and she made a serious effort towards being an actress. And she joined a then new and groundbreaking improv troupe called The Groundlings, where she became a standout performer alongside the likes of Edie McClurg, Lynn Marie Stewart, John Paragon, and Paul Rubens, who would go on to create the character of Pee Wee Herman while at The Groundlings. If you haven't watched that Pee Wee documentary on HBO, by the way, it's so good.
I've read good things about it.
Phenomenal.
Is it that good?
It's really good. It's a really, really incisive, and he's such a singular kind of pop cultural phenomenon. Like, it's definitely worth watching. So Elvira kind of came around. She was developing this sort of Valley Girl character, like this sort of airhead bimbo character, and she had the chance to kind of adapt it for Elvira in 1981, when she had the opportunity to take over hosting duties for a public access horror show. Now, for the young people listening out there, this used to be a real thing, like horror movie hosts. You would show old B movies during the day on TV, and it would be hosted by like a guy in a vampire suit, and he would say a bunch of puns, and he lives in a coffin, and it's all very silly and very fun. It goes back, I think the first of these was a character named Vampira, who had kind of a similar look to Elvira. And she would eventually sue Elvira unsuccessfully for stealing her bit. I don't think they're that similar, really. But either way, she had the chance to audition for this horror TV show. And she adapted this character like with her friend Bob Redding, who this movie is actually dedicated to. He died of age shortly before this came out, but he was the guy who designed her wigs and her costume. Basically, the whole Elvira look is this guy, Bob Redding. And so she was able to kind of make this character her own. The show was called Elvira's Movie Macabre, and it was this surprise hit because she wrote all her own dialogue. It's all this really great kind of like rat-a-tat sort of like set-up punchline, kind of vaudevillian sort of structure to it, but it's all these double entendres. It's all very saucy and very spooky and very fun. And she was just like a cool personality, and like everybody was like really into it. And before long, she graduated from an obscure cult figure to a popular brand, and she would grace the covers of magazines. She has her own comic book. She get her own line of Halloween costumes, and because she became very popular on late-night comedy shows because she would show up and give the host shit and make them uncomfortable with her cleavage. It was great. That's awesome. So she finally, at the peak of her fame, NBC wanted her to make a sitcom, but she had her heart set on doing a movie. She wrote a script with her Groundlings partner, John Paragon, and veteran TV writer Sam Egan, and they had a very specific and kind of perfect idea in mind for a director, Tim Burton. They really wanted Tim Burton for this. He directed the Pee-wee movie. Like, he's got an amazing sensibility. Unfortunately, he was working on Beetlejuice at the time.
Yeah, because Beetlejuice got released in '88 as well.
It did, yeah. And like, he'd only done Pee-wee's Big Adventure at this point, which she is actually in, by the way. If you want to see her outside of her Elvira gug, she's the biker chick in the bar who like threatens him. She's like, I say you let me have him first. Yeah, that's Elvira. Anyway. I have that movie like memorized. I've seen that movie more times than I can count. But yeah, so instead they went with a TV director, James Signorelli, who had previously done a bunch of Saturday Night Live. She stacked the cast with a lot of her Groundlings co-hosts. Paul Rubens was supposed to make a cameo, but he couldn't free his schedule, so he appears as a Pee-wee doll in her dressing room. Very cute. Tragically, shortly before filming, like I mentioned, Peterson lost her friend Bob Redding, so she dedicated the movie to him and named the male lead in his honor. The character of Uncle Vinny was written specifically for Elvira's friend Vincent Price, which would have been awesome.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, but apparently
Horror royalty,
right?
Yeah.
And he would have like had such a good time with it, but apparently he just wasn't comfortable with the racy jokes in the movie. He was a very kind of like old school, like lowercase c conservative man, so he was didn't want to be a part of it.
As a side note, Vincent Price has an amazing cookbook that he wrote with his wife.
Yes.
I was actually looking at this cookbook last night.
Yeah.
Oh my
For my friend's
gosh.
birthday, and they're so sweet. They leave all these pages blank in the back of it because they're like, here are our favorite recipes, but you should fill them with your favorite recipes too. Anyways, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Vincent Price, class act.
Oh yeah, no, he rules. He
Yeah.
rules, and
Yeah.
he didn't have much longer. I think he died shortly after his appearance in Edward Scissorhands, which was like 2 years after this. So, but yeah, Vincent Price is amazing. They almost cast a completely unknown young actor named Brad Pitt to play one of the teenage boys. And Elvira had to veto it because she said that he was too pretty and it would be distracting. She said that nobody would believe that she would be going with the big lunk of a guy when there's like 20-year-old Brad Pitt running around.
Take that, Brad Pitt.
He did okay. He did okay for himself in the end. Now, despite the character's ubiquity, the film was not a success. It only made about $5 million against a $7 million budget, and it was largely dismissed by critics as a dumb but harmless kind of romp. Elvira was nominated for Worst Actress at the Razzies, which is just dog shit. I mean, the Razzies are so stupid anyway, but like, how are you misunderstanding this film so much? And like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a perfect Elvira movie.
I always love stuff like that because it's like, okay, I guarantee you there's probably worse that came out that year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you ever hear Halle Berry's Razzie acceptance speech?
So
it's
funny.
pretty good.
I love that she and Sandra Bullock, I think, are the two who showed up to like accept it in person. Like, because Sandra Bullock got it for the movie All About Steve, which very disappointing. Let me tell you. Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. Not so much. But she showed up to accept the award with a little red wagon full of DVDs of All About Steve, and she gave them out to everybody. She's like, I thought everybody in the crowd might want one of these. So it was dope.
Underneath your seats.
Yeah.
Except check or cash.
Right? Yeah. Oh, dude, she should have been like charging for that. So yeah, that was kind of the end of the run for Elvira. This movie became a real like Comedy Central staple around Halloween. So like it was this, Repossessed, and Transylvania 6-5000, three like completely like forgotten like horror comedies that I've seen 100 times because they were just playing in a loop over and over.
Yeah.
Or like High Spirits was in there. Yeah.
God, I fucking loved High Spirits.
Yeah.
I love High Spirits. Let's just talk about High Spirits for a second.
I don't think I remember it at all. Yeah.
It's one of those movies that sort of disappears from your brain, but it's just like it's one of those things where you're like, if you fuck a ghost, it becomes human again. Which I just think,
Yeah, well-known rule.
That's just a well-known rule.
Did that break you, Justin? Oh no.
I'm just thinking of the implications now.
Yeah, Ghostbusters takes on a very different tenor. Yeah, it's a different
That
vibe.
fellatio scene.
There's a ghost blowjob scene. I'm saying, yeah. I think we've cracked something here.
Is that not far enough?
No, I think of it. Like, he brought a ghost back to life.
That is.
I don't know if that's
I haven't
canon
seen
in
the movie.
Ghostbusters. You haven't seen Ghostbusters?
Oh, dude.
What the hell, Justin?
Guess what? We're doing all of them. Yeah. So
they started like a reboot series a few years back,
which are terrible. Yeah.
and
They're
that
really
was
bad, yeah.
They're so bad. They
the
suck.
only Ghostbusters movie I've seen.
Oh, you are missing
And I think
out.
I saw that with you, and I think you had a similar response to like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why did you come and see this movie instead of watching the other one?"
Ugh.
I think the problem is that you might be. I don't know if you're too old to love the original Ghostbusters, because the original Ghostbusters is a little bit problematic.
Yeah.
But
It still hits,
Bill
though.
Murray is so sleazy in it, but
Yeah.
it's so good. Sigourney Weaver is so amazing in it. And like Dan Aykroyd's amazing, and like
Everybody's great.
It's so fucking funny. But like, I definitely think if you watched it now, you would hate Bill Murray so much it might taint you.
Yeah.
But Bill Murray is so funny, but also creepy. So it's like it's one of those damn movies you should watch where you're young, so you don't realize how problematic it is.
Yeah, definitely.
My parents didn't. I think I've mentioned before. Didn't really watch a lot of movies, and horror movies was absolutely off the table. Like,
Yeah.
we never watched anything horror or horror comedy. Just never. So like, I had to have a friend who basically like me and another friend. It was COVID 2020, Halloween. Two friends of mine were like. Me and one friend were like, "Hey, we don't know horror movies." The other friend was like, "What?" And so she basically was like, "From now on, every fucking Saturday night, we have nothing else to do. We're gonna hop on Discord. We're gonna watch horror movies together.
Hell yes.
And I'm going to educate you all on the absolute basics that you need to know."
Do you like horror movies, Julia?
I'm not a huge horror movie buff. I think I'm too sensitive, and I'm kind of a scaredy cat. So like, I saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose like what, 15 years ago?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just was so eternally scarred.
Strange
that it
movie,
made
kind of
me-
like a courtroom movie most of the time.
Yes.
But there's some really like gnarly exorcism shit in that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like really scary body gore shit.
Do they take the ghost to court?
No.
They're like litigating if what happened to her was actually a demonic
Abuse.
possession or just abuse.
Is this like from the
Right.
church or from?
No, it's
the-
from a court. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
courtroom. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, because she passes at the end. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, and it's scary, right? Because it's based off of a quote unquote true story.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of this is documented. Anyways, scared the shit out of me because I was raised so Irish Catholic.
Right.
I'm currently recovering. And, it kind of deterred me. But I think I'm open to it more now, especially if the horror in question is Elvira. Mistress of the Dark.
I felt like
Which
this
would-
is a
know
level
what?
you can.
It didn't scare me as bad as I thought it would. I wasn't that scared except for just the constant sexual assault happening.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Just
boy.
like
God, the first half
ubiquitous
of the movie.
ubiquitous sexual assault. I was like starting to count it, like how frequently it happened, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
So every 2 to 2.5 minutes, there's some form of assault, which she masterfully turns back on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever is doing this to her and makes a fucking asshat out of them, which is so powerful
Yeah.
and amazing.
Yeah.
It's still that thing though of like it's never like it. In order to give back what they deserve, you have to be really bad, and it's like I don't know. It was just like they deserve to be like punched half the time, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of part of the whole shtick of hers.
it's like
yeah.
every man except Bob is immediately like prepared to harass or assault her.
Yeah, but the cool thing about Elvira is that she kind of always has the upper hand. Like she
Yeah.
brushes
Yeah.
the shit off, and she is Bugs Bunny with
I think there's a
boobs.
difference.
She is a
doesn't-
chaos agent
she
in a
doesn't
fun way.
brush
But
it off.
yeah,
She addresses it, and
Yeah.
I think that's really powerful because I feel like that is the thing that we're so much taught as women to shut the fuck up and to like somebody's being creepy to shut up to be polite. And Elvira steps out of that and tells them to go fuck themselves
Yeah.
immediately.
Right.
And so that's why Elvira is so empowering, is because she doesn't take any shit from anybody. Like she loses, like the opening thing and the sort of impetuous for the show is that she loses her gig because hosting horror because like the station gets bought up by some dude who's insinuating that she has to play ball with his balls, and she just is like fuck off, and like it's so empowering that she's just like every single time she maintains her boundaries and tells them to fuck off.
Yeah. Even with the acrimonious, like woman on woman kind of offensive stuff that goes on, I think the other woman's name is Patty.
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
Works in the bowling alley or whatever, and she hates her, of course,
Right.
because she's a threat, and she loves Bob secretly. But it's amazing because like Patty tries to shame her, right, by like essentially calling her, a slut. And it's amazing because you see Elvira and she just totally owns it. She's
Yeah.
like, you can't even shame me because I own it so hard
Yeah.
that like there is no vulnerable weak thing that you can push a button and like offend me because I'm too powerful for that.
Yeah.
Which is just badass, right?
I haven't watched this in a couple years, so it was fun to like, and it's just such a basic cable like staple that I've just kind of seen it in the background multiple times. But the thing that was really striking me watching it this time, the movie that I was comparing it to most in my head was Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, which is a drag queen movie. This 100% could be played by a drag queen. Her whole energy
Yes.
is like this great kitschy like 1950s throwback drag energy. She's got the huge hair and the huge nails and the big personality, and that's just such a fun way to start. I love that she's coming to the small town of Falwell, Massachusetts. Fucking love that. I'm really happy that I'm going to have to explain who Jerry Falwell is. He was the founder of the religious right back in the 80s and a virulent homophobe, blamed like homosexuality for creating AIDS and weather storms, all these total huge piece of shit. And I say I'm happy to explain who he is because he is long dead now, and people are immediately forgetting him. So go fuck yourself, Jerry Falwell.
But apparently they're still
Perpetuity.
carrying on some
He's-
of his beliefs.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but currently he is in hell, according to his phone tracker. I'm checking it right now. He is burning in hell.
He's getting a lot of steps in.
He's getting a lot of steps.
Shoveling coal down there.
He is. They're shoveling it right up his ass. I hate that guy. Sorry. Yeah,
Sounds hateable.
Like this movie is completely like lighter than fluff. It's so silly. It's absolutely ridiculous, like cartoon of a movie.
Let's pause for a minute. What did you think of her car? Because I loved her car.
Okay,
I love
yeah, we gotta
the
do the car.
chain.
Justin's like a car savant.
I've never been a fan of like the chain aesthetics, but otherwise it was a pretty cool car.
Wait, like the chain wheel?
Yeah.
Oh, I love the
Oh,
chain
the chain
wheel.
wheel
Are you
is
kidding me?
amazing.
Badass.
It would burn the shit out of your hands trying to drive that in Texas. Like every time you get your car, it's just Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, you know.
It would be terrible, and it also wouldn't be great in the north either.
No.
You know? I mean, granted, usually you wear gloves in the winter anyway, but
But it's like,
so
what is it,
this
like a
is- so you're-
57 Chevy
you're
or
annoyed
something?
with
Like,
the practicality of her
Steve
car.
brought up logistics. I wasn't even thinking about
the
that.
the proportions
I've
of that
never-
woman on the mud flap are way off. I can't even tell if she has a degree. Yes.
You know what? Neither do I, baby. Yeah, I never really liked the look of like chains, because like a lot of people have like chain dog collars and stuff, and I'm like,
A lot of people?
A
lot of dogs. Okay,
yeah.
I'm like, wait.
Elvira
people have
has
dog
she has a
collars.
spiked
Yeah.
dog collar. And
Yeah, it's dope.
a couple of times.
but not chains. That's
Well, there's
different.
like a light thread, right? To
yeah,
some
it's-
BDSM fun kink,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With her that's implied, I think.
But I was like, it didn't. The car was still cool. It was still a pretty cool car.
Yeah.
I love a good old convertible where you just, fully open. Nowadays, you don't get that super often. So.
No. Yeah, no, it was a fun vibe. I mean, I love the whole her whole look is just so fun, and I love that like obviously she shows up into this small town. She's like turning heads. She's this total bombshell, and some men are like making these feeble attempts at her, but for the most part, all of the boys in this town are so sexually intimidated by her, and she just kind of walks all over them. She gets like this little army of like teen devotees that like could have been creepy. I think it like toes the line more towards sweet.
It's super
like,
sweet.
They're
Like,
these
because they-
earnest kids.
Well,
Yeah,
I think because she's so much originally herself.
Yeah.
She's an inspiration for these children, and like the young teen girl who's being so oppressed because, for heaven forbid, she like wears makeup.
Yeah.
Like it is just she's an inspiration to them, and like the boys are sort of like classically from the '80s. They're like, oh, let's go a panty raid. But like,
what is that voice?
Let's go on panty raid.
that's what my version of what those assholes who do panty raids do. Like that's their voice. It's a combination of Yoda and John Candy.
Yoda, John
Yeah.
Candy, and Frat House.
Sure, I love that vibe.
But they go from being creepy teenagers to being good teenagers who actually try to help her out and help out to build the thing. Both because they're in her thrall and because later on they actually value her as a human being.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things too, is just seeing like, especially when the young girls join it. Because at first it's like the group of young boys who are just kind of like, oh my God. And then it's like the group of young girls who are like, you're actually a pretty cool, inspiring person.
Yeah.
And then you get to kind of see that as things progress, as like, the gist of it is that this town is a town where there's no fun. They've outlawed fun.
it's a footloose town, basically. Yeah,
it's a footloose town. And so by the end of it, you start seeing them over time. Like when they go to see her show, you see them opening up a little more, having more fun, getting closer to each other as it goes on.
Yeah.
And you get to see like these really cool moments where they deviate from being like, we love you because you're hot, to like, oh, we love you because you are great in helping us.
Julia, you grew
Open
up
up.
in Austin.
I
Did you
did.
grow up in like the area of Austin with a tiny school or a big school?
I went to a tiny school, yeah. So I had a very religious kind of. I mean, it was sort of the women who taught me were semi-chastity pariah-esque, right?
Also, that name is so good.
What a
Chastity
name.
Pariah.
Thank you for mentioning.
Edie
What a fucking name.
Edie McClurg playing Chastity Pariah, amazing.
And she's so amazing. I think she's such an icon as well. And she played that role so beautifully. When she's at the potluck, that gets so Dionysian and sexual.
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
asks the guy on the ground, "Is this face taken?" And sits down. It's amazing.
I love that. Was my favorite joke of the movie.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. It was my favorite joke of the movie. My jaw dropped, and I was like, "That is crazy."
This is a fantastic one-liner movie. I pulled up a couple of them
Yes.
because I love it. There's there's nothing wrong with G-rated movies so long as there's lots of sex and violence. Hey guys, sorry I'm late, but then so is my aunt. Hey, nice jacket. Who shot the couch? Let's see. The absolute best line in the movie is she gets bonked on the head. He comes up and says, "How's your head?" And she says, "Well, I've had no complaints."
I love that one.
So good. At one point, she tells the teen boys who are helping her set up her house. She's like, "Go grab a tool and start banging." It's so good. It's so racy. Every line is delivered like that. Oftentimes, she breaks the fourth wall and mugs to the camera, and it's very old timey sketch comedy.
One of the ones that got me was when they were preparing to burn her at the stake, because yes, they do prepare to burn her at the stake.
Yeah.
The officer offers her a pack of cigarettes, "Do you smoke?" And she goes, "We're about to find out."
Yeah, that's
So
great.
good.
No, it's so cool. I mean, and this. There is kind of a supernatural element to this movie that's almost
No.
It almost lifts out because Elvira is just playing herself, right? She's the host of a horror show, and in the beginning of it, she quits. She finds out she inherits this house, and she has to drive back to Massachusetts. And so then she's still like Elvira, just being plucked out of this one situation.
Yep.
But now she's there's a witch, and her evil uncle Vinny is a warlord, and he's trying to get hold of this magical
Warlock.
I love
her warlock,
being
excuse me.
baby Elvira with the eye makeup.
Oh,
had to
my
get
God.
eye makeup.
Incredible. And it even had tiny little black fingernails.
Yeah.
They painted the baby's fingernails.
Adorable.
Beautiful attention to detail from
Yeah.
the HMU squad on this film.
I mean, all of that stuff is I don't know. For me, it was fairly perfunctory. It's we need it so that we can have a climactic showdown with some special effects. And of course, we are treated to the sight of Elvira going full Rambo mode, which is awesome. Which is really fun.
I love when they sort of I love both when they do the Flashdance homage, and then later on in the Rambo scene, there's a Flashdance elements of her wearing the very short skirt.
Yeah.
Showing off her legs, because everyone talks about her assets, but her legs are so gorgeous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she's just got legs for days, and it's just I really love the Flashdance vibe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the final set piece of this movie is a sample of her old Vegas show, right? She's doing a full burlesque number with choreography, including. And I still cannot wrap my head around the booby tassel trick.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
when
not
she
seen that in
goes
person?
No, one direction, and two at the same time in different directions?
I've seen
Mesmerizing.
Okay, this is gonna sound really dumb. I've seen cartoons do this.
I've seen,
and I didn't assume it was something that was based in reality.
I used to
Steve
live in-
had to do extensive research on this.
I am a scholar, sir. I am a
used to
scholar.
live in Scotland, and so they have the Fringe every year in Edinburgh in August, and I would go and I'd hit up all the burlesque shows, and you it's wait till you see it in person.
Okay.
It's extraordinary.
It seemed to be all shoulder. I wasn't sure quite how she was doing it, but it was crazy. It's
it's about momentum.
it's very impressive, and you can see why she was such a successful showgirl when
But
she
it's
was
just
doing that. But
I mean, I don't know. I feel and one of the things I love about Elvira, and I love about the best types of burlesque, is the comedy, because I personally think that burlesque without comedy is just a little bit dull for me. I really love burlesque with comedy, and so I feel like Elvira just really hits the nail on that head.
haven't had any complaints.
Yeah. She has this amazing kind of live. You said vaudevillian. Earlier,
Yeah.
This amazing. Yeah, this totally like live performance vaudevillian, larger than life character who's able to kind of do it on film as well, which is such a fun continuation of like an old theater practice, which is humor and sex and action, all at the same time.
Well, she definitely has a lot of clowning aspects because she acts with her eyes so much, and like with her eye makeup, and she so often she like does that like gasp and like surprise look with her eyes, and it's just so fucking funny and charming.
Yeah, and the makeup is so expressionistic too, like the eye makeup and everything, and it's just.
Would you call her hair a mullet?
No, it's a beehive, right?
No.
Wouldn't you just call that a beehive? Yeah, it's like a full.
I don't know what
It's not
you
a beehive.
call
A beehive is actually a bee. Like a beehive looks different.
I don't think you could call that a mullet,
It's
though.
sort of like that sexy Kiss and David Bowie 80s mullet.
Yeah.
But it was like really particular of that decade,
Yeah.
and mullets since have changed, but like that was kind of like the crazy rocker hairstyle.
Yeah.
I have the answer. I just Googled this. Elvira's iconic hairstyle is known as a knowledge bump. It's a variety of a beehive, but it's like a bigger beehive, and there's like some structure in there. There's like some netting or something that's like holding it
there's
up.
a lot of volume.
Yeah. So a knowledge bump. Guess what? We all just got a little knowledge bump by learning that term. Oh, I hope you all at home are enjoying your little knowledge bump. Anyway.
Shoot me. I've said worse.
Apparently, from what I read about the production of this movie, which went very smoothly for the most part, the biggest asshole in the entire set was the dog. Apparently, that dog was a problem, a bit of a diva, bit some people, was a bit of a nightmare. So apparently, the old adage in Hollywood is never work with kids and dogs. So apparently, that one bore out this time. But you know what? That dog didn't really go on to much.
Kids are terrible workers. They don't work hard. They don't work fast.
And they're
They
limited
get
by how many
tuckered out.
hours they can be there. Yeah,
They gotta pull
Horrible
themselves up by
workers.
their bootstraps every day.
Can barely lift the rigging. I mean,
They
what
always
are
get
they
their
doing?
time cards wrong.
Oh, every time.
How dare
AM,
they?
PM, just really hard for them.
Really hard for them. Yeah, no, they
I mean,
haven't.
the clock goes around twice.
Do we have any final thoughts on the movie before we move on to the game? Like I said, it's a very insubstantial movie. It's so silly.
So I did like the fact that they sexualized men quite a bit in this movie. I really liked that her, and I did like the fact that her love interest was like shy and retiring.
And just a slab of beef.
A
Like
slab
that.
of beef.
He's just like this big old like happy dumb guy, and he's just like, I don't know.
I started calling him the ham hock when I saw him.
The ham
Like
hock.
this haughty little ham hock.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this nice little slice of beef. Yeah, exactly. I got in trouble because I called James Cromwell a piece of beef jerky on one episode once, and they were mad at me. So I have to be careful about who I'm calling beef.
I think the jerky part was the one we were most concerned about.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
It wasn't the beef part.
Well, let's move on to talk about this game, which is surprising in a lot of ways. I did not really know what this game was going to be. But Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, it was released March 1990. It's developed by HorrorSoft, published by Accolade, and it was released on DOS, Atari ST, Commodore 64, and Amiga. So early PCs, basically. So a bunch of old consoles that I've never seen in real life. I was really not sure what to expect of this. This is a first-person point-and-click like adventure game with some combat elements to it, and it's like a little bit more hardcore of a horror game than I was expecting. Like,
There's skellies.
there's gore. There's like when your
there's
character
blood.
dies, like you see your severed head like in a pile of blood. Like
I saw a trachea.
there was a
Yeah.
trachea.
Crazy.
Yeah. Now, Julia, you said you don't play games often.
No.
Yeah, you haven't played one
Just
in
like
quite a while.
psychological ones, but
Yeah.
not ones that in the physical
Yeah, you play
world.
mind games with me. Yeah,
I do.
cat and
I
mouse
do, frequently with
situations.
Steve.
Yeah, we had to disable all the saw traps before you guys came over.
He's
Yeah.
just so trusting. So easy.
Oh, I want that cookie.
No, it was fun. It reminded me of like, my origins of playing like what was it? Age of Empires?
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
kind
So
of like,
good.
like it's pixelated, it's fun, it's granular. That's what makes it charming. It draws you in. I really actually just want to figure out how I can get the soundtrack for this video
It's
game.
actually kind of good, right?
It's kind of sick, and I sort of want to drive in my car, like, espionage style.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, observe people, spy on them.
Just with that blasting, yeah.
It's a great soundtrack.
I love
It's a vibe.
like old 8-bit like game music. It's just like it just tickles a little sweet spot for me. And this was really good stuff. Like obviously we're working with an MS-DOS game from 1990, so the pixels are about the size of my head, and like you have to take a little bit of creative license to make out what you're seeing, but it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
They clearly put a lot of effort into animating certain parts of Elvira.
The jiggle physics. Jiggle physics.
I have to imagine is like in her rider or something, right? She's like I get full control. Like you like we know what I'm here for. Like let's animate this. But it also did have like you're not playing as Elvira. Elvira. This is like a sequel to the movie. After Uncle Vinny dies, Elvira. Spoiler: he dies. Elvira inherits his old castle, which she is renovating to turn into like a tourist attraction. But there's an old witch in the house who is raising the dead and causing all kinds of problems. So you are some random nameless character who shows up to help her. And she's in the game and she helps you from time to time. And there are a couple of like witticisms, some Elvira style witticisms. What does she say? Something about like turning your weenie into a
knot?
Into a knot.
A granny knot.
A granny knot. Yeah, specifically a granny knot.
What's a granny knot?
I don't know, but it's like more evocative, I think, than just saying a knot, Yeah. Should turn your weenie into a sheep shank. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I don't want
a
my
bowline.
weenie near a granny
Those
or
are my
a
knots.
shank.
Those are my 2 knots that I got. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so there's like little moments like that, and then you're basically wandering around the castle. It's that classic like old point and click game where you have like a list of commands on the side. You're like, do you want to use this honey with this torch? I don't know, like, and you have to experiment
Classic
and try
honey torch combo.
classic badger to a stick sort of thing, like you would do in like Monkey Island or whatever. It takes these like huge kind of absurd leaps in logic to kind of figure out what you should be doing. This one seemed a little bit more straightforward. It's like, use this magic potion, use this key to open this door.
Yes, but also like we definitely didn't figure anything out.
No, we were bad at this, to be clear. I was the worst at it because there's a combat system in this that's very kind of unique. It is like when you go into a combat scene, it turns into like a first person where you're just like you and a guy, and you have to block and parry his attacks with your mouse and then like get in there. So they're trying to simulate like the sense of real sword fighting, kind of like the Highlander game did back when we played that a million years ago. But like,
that out of my memory.
You're right to. But yeah, it was trying kind of for like the accurate like sword fighting, but with this newfangled device called a mouse, and it doesn't totally work, but it's kind of intriguing. Like Justin, you figured out that basically just boils down to just clicking it really fast.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I just was spamming click. That was what I figured out.
That's the trick ultimately, is just to like spam the click. But
it still wasn't super effective. But.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, we poked around for a little bit. Like, it is one of those games that's pretty obtuse if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing...
It's 23 minutes
It's 23 minutes long. Yeah, we watched a YouTube video.
This guy who's just fucking going.
He just knows this game inside and out.
It was not...
There's so much to this game. Like, you go outside and you shoot a falcon and get a key, and it's just like it's like how do you know what to do? Like, it's just like, it's wild.
Yeah.
Well, because back in the day you didn't have many video games, so you just sat at the screen for an hour just trying everything you could think of until one worked. Then you're like, all right, I'm going to do that again now for the next thing.
Even as a kid, I didn't have the attention span for that. Did you?
No.
Were you able to do that? Like,
Not really.
like sit and
Not
puzzle out a
really.
game?
This kind of gave me escape room vibes, and
Yeah.
that is my nightmare.
Oh, you're not an escape room? Okay.
escape rooms.
To be clever and just try every option on the. I'm like, the last time I was in an escape room, I looked at the camera and I was like, I will give you $20 cash to tell me what to do next, because I just don't want to do the game anymore. This is the new game, actually, is me bribing you. This is a new fucking game.
It's now a bartering game. Yeah.
I already paid you to let me into this room. I'm now paying you to let me out of this room.
Yeah. I mean, it has kind of those vibes. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a good apt comparison to it. Like, I'm typically pretty on board with like games like this, but I have come to realize, like, I'm a fan of like the old LucasArts, like Grim Fandango, Monkey Island, things like that. But I've come to realize, like, I want a guide open. Because I'm playing this to see like the clever things unfold. I'm playing it for like they're usually like pretty well written, funny stories. But I'm like, I just don't have the mental energy to figure out that I need to take the shoe and bring it to the third oven on the 16th floor, and I need to set it to an exact temperature that's hinted at in journal number 3. I'm like, no, I just don't have the time to like parse all that together.
No.
You know, like it's a little bit too obscure. But, you know, this game was quite well received at the time. There's a sequel that has some of the most insane cover art you've ever seen. It's called The Gates of Cerberus or something. And
Excuse me, I need to look
it's
this
like
up.
this.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, it's like this kind of Frank Franzetta style, like gigantic fire demon. Like Elvira's not on the cover at all, but it is still called Elvira 2, The Gates of Cerberus or something crazy like that. And that's wild to me. Like they just kind of spun it off. There were a few other Elvira games, mostly pinball. There are a lot of Elvira pinball tables, which are pretty cool. But I think I don't know if her brand really has much like currency these days. Like I don't know. She's long retired for the most part. She's in her late 70s now. She is, she in her autobiography, that's when she revealed that she has actually been in a relationship with a woman for the last 20 years. They're very happy. They have a nice, like, small, quiet life. They're longtime companions. Yes, they're old. They're just gal pals. No, she's been married to this woman for a long time, and it's really cool. And she shows up from time to time at conventions and stuff like that, but for the most part, she just kind of lives a private life.
Does she like announce ahead of time that she's going to be there, or does she just like roll up and be like, "Yo"?
I imagine they announce her, but like of that Groundlings class that came up, she's the last one that's alive. Like because Lynn Marie Stewart just passed away. People might remember her as Missy Vaughn from Pee-wee's Playhouse, or most recently she was Charlie's mom on It's Always Sunny.
Did Pee-wee pass away?
Pee-wee passed away.
Why?
Yeah,
Pee-wee died like 2
recently.
years ago.
Oh
yeah.
my god, I fully
Really
missed
recently.
that.
Yeah, he was sick and didn't tell anybody. Yeah.
The 80s, people went really hard, and it was all preservatives in their food, and cocaine is one
So
hell of
much
a drug.
cocaine. Yeah. Oh man. No, so many of them like just didn't make it. And so and I think like Pee-wee, I think this character is going to die with her, because who else is going to, like, the point isn't people playing Elvira. It's Cassandra Peterson playing Elvira. It is
Right.
her. It's her character. She owns it. Like, people can do a bad cosplay of it, but it's never going to be Elvira. You need to do your own thing.
It's kind of interesting to see. So I think like her brand, right? Like her identity has some legs that are going to continue with or without her. Like I saw Cola Scola's show, Oh Mary,
Right.
And which was like totally very similar to Elvira in this, like, they play this extravagant female character. It's so camp, it's so queer, it's so incredible. At the end, this is a spoiler, there's a huge cabaret show where Mary Todd Lincoln is the star, right? So it's very, very similar to Elvira.
It's
where
great.
She ends with this amazing cabaret burlesque show. It's also interesting, like, you know, the Wednesday franchise is huge now.
Yeah.
Right? So we do have this resurgence of, like, loving these dark female characters who are kind of fringe, kind of campy, highly stylized, and they feel empowering to watch. So I like the Wednesday character because it's like almost a little updated version of her in a way.
Right.
You know,
yeah, and they humanize her a little bit more, and like,
Yeah.
she's not so one note.
Yeah.
Man, Cassandra Peterson would be great as like a headmistress on Wednesday or something. If she hasn't
God.
done that yet, like, why has she not done that yet?
Oh my God, amazing.
That'd be a great, like, kind of way of bringing her into that universe. But yeah, I think the cool thing about characters like Elvira is that, like, it's one of one. Nobody else is going to be able to do this character exactly like it, but a lot of people are going to be influenced by it.
Yeah.
And I think Wednesday's a good example. There's kind of a resurgence recently in horror hosts, you know, because of platforms like Shudder. We have Joe Bob Briggs is still doing his thing, and like Sven Gulli and the Boulet brothers do a drag horror show that's incredible. Like, it's a televised show, and it's so awesome. So like this idea is sticking around, and people are going to be building kind of their own version of these characters, and I just think it's super cool. I love that Elvira exists as a little pop culture refuge, a little time capsule of this very specific era, and I think she rules, and I hope she lives a very long time and continues to have a kick-ass life. Yeah.
Amen to Cassandra Peterson. All
Yeah.
hail
All
Satan
hail.
and Cassandra Peterson.
Hail the queen, man. She rules. Well, let's move on to the part of the show where we're giving our rankings. So we go on a scale of good movie, good game to bad movie, bad game. And it's any mixture in
Look how
between.
black and white this is.
Basically, but it's not at all, as you'll see. Justin, why don't you show us how it's done? What did you think of this movie and this game on our scale?
I think it was a solid 5.
See, now we're bringing numbers into it. Yeah.
5 out of 7.
Okay, sure.
I think.
Why not?
It's a good one. I thought it was really fun. Didn't like the sexual assault and harassment as much. That was a little less fun. But they really kind of dropped that going into the second half of the movie and focused more on the characters, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think other than that part, I think they managed to stay very I don't know the right way to phrase it, but they don't say things that we wouldn't want to hear these days.
Sure. It's not. It's aged pretty well.
Yeah, it's aged well. It hasn't. Pretty much the whole thing is still applicable today.
Because it turns out women are still treated like horrible shit all the time. Yeah. Would you believe that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, shocking, right? That people are still mistreated in this world.
We've almost got into a bar fight last night.
Oh my God.
Trying to defend someone.
It was insane.
It's fine.
It was insane. Yeah. Listeners, do not hear this and think that I'm in any way cool. This has never happened before. It was nuts. But yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like,
yeah, and I also we kind of touched on it, but I enjoyed that the love interest was the only person that wasn't like trying too hard.
Yeah.
If anything, they were trying to not try hard.
Right.
Which I thought was nice.
Yeah. And how about the game?
Listen. For the time, it was probably decent.
Okay.
It just doesn't. Again, it's never done it for me. Too much time spent trying to figure things out, which I love trying to figure things out. I love escape rooms. I love puzzles and stuff. But man, point and click games are just a different beast altogether. It's almost like text adventures.
You got to lock it. Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
I used to play so many text adventures. Oh my God, I'm a million years old. J-Ben, where do you come down?
I think this is a campy classic.
Okay.
Like I definitely like. It's not a movie that you like. It's like a movie you leave on when you're watching it when it comes on TV, and it's definitely like it's not. It's just so like a product of what it is. It's so much fun, but at the same time, it's not like it's not Casablanca, but it's still really fun. And so I say it can't be classic. And then I say for the video game, I actually really quite liked the video game. I thought it was much more involved than I thought it would be, and they spent some time on creating it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very charming. In the end, you destroy another big bosomed woman. And
I don't know about the branding on that, though. I don't know if the messaging is good on there. But it also does imply that you have sex with Elvira as a reward for beating the game. So, or, at least she has sex with you. Yeah.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
I want to add a note to very good looking game.
Yeah, it does. It's
they did a
cool
very
looking.
good job.
Yeah. Juliet, how about you? Where do you come down on these?
Well, okay, I'll start with the game because we're talking about that. I want that game to be like projected in a dark club on my body and maybe on substances with the soundtrack blasting with like 300 sweaty strangers. I think that would be the vibe.
I
but
love
in
this
terms of
idea.
Playing the game, can't do it.
Okay.
Too ADD, too impatient. It felt like an escape room to me,
Fair.
which I could not escape. I can never escape them is the problem. They'd probably be really fun if I could figure anything out whatsoever in those games.
I'm just
the
imagining.
secret to doing an escape room is to do one with Steve, so you just relax.
That's the thing.
Same thing with
Steve?
trivia too.
Yeah.
Steve, I need you.
Yeah.
The film is so incredible, right? Like, I think, when I watch a movie, I'm a filmmaker. So when I watch a movie, I look at okay, what kind of lighting are they doing? What's the camera? What are we doing with HMU? What are we doing with wardrobe? What do these things mean? And I thought that the craftsmanship of the film was actually super excellent.
It was.
It was just so evocative and oversaturated and maximalist in this really insane way.
Very kind of Ozzie and Harriet, old sitcom kind of
Yes.
cleanliness to the town, which I liked. Yeah.
Yes, and like you said, it has this Pee-wee kind of I don't know, this
Retro 50s.
Yeah. It's really just funky and cool. I really appreciated that. I love Elvira. I think she's such an icon for the fringe and the freaks and the non-normals,
Yeah.
which I'm always gonna have a soft spot for.
I'm hoping that as long as goth kids roam the earth, there will always be a place for Elvira in the culture somewhere. I hope that continues to be a thing.
Yeah, totally. So I actually think it's kind of an important film. I know it's such a silly, campy, amazing thing, but I actually think it's kind of an important film.
Yeah, kind of.
Because other people have also become creators that have been heavily influenced by watching this, because it just kind of broke the mold of you're getting all these John Hughes films and shit like this in the 80s. You have 16 Candles with Molly Ringwald, and then you have fucking Cassandra Peterson.
Yeah.
As a direct opposition of what women can be in the 80s in cinema, which is just badass to see.
It was
loved
cool.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm coming down the same way. I have a lot of fondness for this movie. I don't think it's a drop everything clear room in your schedule all timer classic, but it is just so effortlessly fun and silly and just really not like anything else. I think the fact that Elvira is both she brings a lot of MC energy, because that's kind of what she is.
Yeah.
Her horror hostess thing, but it's interesting to apply that energy into real world sitcom kind of situations, which is really there's a fun dichotomy there. And she's just so game and so funny and owns her brand, her iconic status so well. And I thought this game was pretty cool. I'm always going to have a little soft spot for these point and click games, even if I don't love playing them anymore. But I agree with you. The soundtrack is awesome. I love the idea of having 8-bit Elvira jiggle physics being projected onto people in a club. I mean, come on, that's fun. That's a great idea. You need to open a club specifically for this. But yeah, it's definitely charming enough, and it's
has plenty of room for more clubs.
And it's not. We've played a lot of games on this show that are embarrassing. This is not embarrassing at all. This is pretty cool, pretty well made.
Yeah.
So that wraps up our conversation on Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And thank you so much to our very own Mistress of the Dark, Juliet Robb. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you have anything to promote, to plug, to let anybody know about?
I can plug my I'm in a theatrical production in Austin, Texas. So
Hell
if you
yeah.
want to come see that, it's at Trinity Playhouse in October. It's called Mirror Lake.
Yeah.
And I'll be in it, and it's a thriller. So we're gonna continue the horror vibes.
Yes. Juliet and I were recently in a production of Betrayal by Harold Pinter. Juliet's an incredible actress, so if you are in the Austin area, I'm going to go check that out.
Steve is a liar.
Please do. No, I've
very
never
good liar.
lied. I've never lied. And thank you to everybody for listening. We are going to be continuing our Halloween spooky season next week. We're going to be talking about a more recent movie from 2013, a movie I have not revisited in a little bit, but it actually has an extremely popular video game right now. We're talking about World War Z. Yeah. Speaking of Brad Pitt, yeah, we're going to be talking about that movie and the very, very popular strategy game that's out there right now. So, and I assume we'll be talking about the book as well. So, all right, y'all. Well, we will check in with you next time and have unpleasant dreams.